Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Rebel Crow Psychic Show with your host, Athena Silver.
Hi, I'm Anya River.
Tonight, we want to do a whole episode about the importance of spring cleaning for spiritual reasons. You know, it helps with your witchcraft practices. It helps you to clean out all the bad old energy that's accumulated through the winter and open up for opportunities that may come in the summer and the warmer months and for all the different celebrations of the year. So aren't you excited, Anya?
Yeah, let's get right into it. So be right back.
Hi, everyone. So let's get into it. The importance of spring cleaning. I think that it's really important for us to talk about this today because we just went through the winter, especially since we've been dealing with COVID-19 this year, and our energies are all scattered all over the place. We've been spending a lot of time inside more than we usually would. So when it talks about energy and negative energy, it settles. And the more you're stewing in it, the more it can create chaos in your life. So spring cleaning is an absolute must. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. And decluttering too.
Yes.
Decluttering too.
So tonight we're really going to focus on the methods that we use ourselves, what we, some of the traditions that have been taught to us, and things that we think are really valuable in the way of tips and tricks for how you can better protect yourself and better open up new opportunities.
Besides cleaning the house like you normally do, besides, decluttering like you normally do. And I'm a huge fan of decluttering for energetic magic. I feel like, especially people who have cluttered households like I tend to do, when it happens, when you do it, it's like you are free. Like I have literally been stone cold sober and I'm like visibly, like if somebody saw me doing these decluttering tasks, they'd be like, no, you're not. There's no way. No, you're not, because I just get so like light and I'm moving fast and I'm like, it's just something happens when you throw out.
No, I agree with you. I've actually had it where I've been trying to perform spell work. I usually do divination. I'll give myself a reading before I attempt any kind of spell work. And I'll ask them, what's needed for the spell working for it to be successful. And I have literally got clean your damn house. It's gross in here.
I've got that too. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll go up. I'll start reorganizing. I'll wipe stuff down. I'll burn some incense to clean the air. There's also things called limpias that you can do for your space that actually cleans it out energetically.
Okay, tell us.
All right. There's one, and shout out to Erica Buenaflor, because this comes from her first book, my absolute favorite spiritual book on the planet, The Cleansing Rites of Curanderismo. She talks about the white limpia, which is Epsom salt in a pot and like rubbing alcohol or high proof alcohol in it, and with dry herbs like rosemary and basil and things like that. Mm-hmm. And you just light a match and drop it in, it goes whoosh, and then it starts to smoke and as it burns through the ingredients. And it is the strongest air purifier I have found. It removes all sorts of funk. I've even used it for house cleansings for people who are having hauntings and different energetic imprints and stuff like that. So it's definitely a powerful one. And I highly suggest that book, by the way. That book is awesome when it comes to cleaning tips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. We did an episode on that, so we should link it here.
Definitely. We will.
Yeah, that's definitely. Do you open your windows when you do that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I need it all out. Windows, doors, everything. Although you need to be careful because there are certain traditions that say if you sweep it out the back because you don't want to sweep your luck out the front. There's people who say go through the front and not through the back. It's really like what is practiced in your lineage, the traditions that you practice, what's ancestrally practiced in through your family and what you've learned. You've got to go intuitively as well to what your spirit guides are telling you. But I do a huge cleaning on New Year's every year, New Year's Day. And I go through and I take a ritual broom and I'll sweep all of the negative energy from the year before and I'll burn the broom or I'll break it up and bury it.
So do you go front to back? Front to back or back to, do you go front to back or back to front?
I go out the back.
Okay.
I don't like to sweep my luck out the front.
So when I do it, I actually have a tradition that comes from the Hermetic side, and I go from the back to the front, but it's more like sweeping negative energy out.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's not, or actually maybe also counterclockwise, but that's something a little bit different. Anyway,
it varies depending on what you're practicing, to be honest.
Yep, exactly. Just fortifying that statement, because it is all about your intention underneath everything.
I also go an extra step, especially for the New Year's cleansing and the spring cleansing. I will, like the New Year's cleansing, I always do a special floor wash. One of my favorite ingredients, Fabuloso, is in it.
Oh, wow. You make it out of Fabuloso? That's so cool.
Yeah. That's one of the ingredients. I put Florida water in there, put a little Fabuloso. Listen, my ancestors used it. My family, my loved ones.
Our ancestors from the 50s used it.
No, it's a joke. But I make it kind of like a miniature spiritual bath, and I'll wash my floors with it. And I put prayer into it and my intentions into it. And, I make it like a ritual in its own self, and it purifies and lifts not only the visible dirt, because, hey, that's a plus, but it also purifies the energies within the home.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Sometimes I'll also use room sprays that are made specifically for room cleansings.
And those aren't Fabuloso, right? Those are not Fabuloso.
No, right? no. Just the floor wash, a little Fabuloso in it, but it's for the floor, so it's all right. Nobody's eating it.
No.
No, so with those, they're with essential oils.
Okay. And what's your favorite to do around the house?
It depends on what I'm trying to do. If it's just an all-purpose, I really like burning incense. Even if I don't have time to straighten everything up and put everything in its place, it purifies the air. It changes the vibration in the room and in the house. Yeah. I also have my house crystal gridded. So I have crystals buried near the foundation in the different corners of my house, with using like sacred geometry. And nice. I've got it such a way where I have to re-up it for the spring cleansing season. So I'll re-bless it, and I'll also go around and say prayers around the house and burn incense and resins and stuff like that. So
wow, that's great.
I treat my house, it's essentially a temple. So the spirits that are here, they're here because they're doing work. They're here because they're welcome. They're here. There's always a reason for it, And because I have it set up that way, it keeps a lot of negative out, and it also protects from attacks. But that has to be cleansed periodically.
Yeah.
So
how
there's
often
a lot
do you
that
do
goes
that?
into it.
Yeah, no, I know. And your house does feel great. Like you can feel the work that you put into it.
Yeah. I'm also very picky about who I let in my house. If you have bad energy, I'm sorry, you're not coming in. I'll talk to you on the porch. That's you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. It's funny because there's certain people who come into my house and they feel uncomfortable in my house, because I guess they feel unwelcome. There's certain spirits in my house that don't like certain people I know. So
okay, so it's not unwelcome from you. It's just, the spirits
not from me. It's the person who's
around.
there. They can feel then like, Like they don't need to be here. And
Yeah.
it's like, and I notice it gets to be about a half hour in their visit and they're like, I gotta go.
So speaking of like a home, like entryways and stuff, I love using salt bowls.
Yes,
So I'll put
those are
like a
nice.
salt bowl, a like really nice Himalayan sea salt and some herbs. And like, I have a lot of I have not made ceramics in a long time, but I have made ceramics, for like 10, 15 years or something like
Yeah.
that out of my life. And I'll use like a ceramic bowl, like a really beautiful glazed bowl, and put some of my favorites are juniper, rosemary. I put a few stones in there that are
Nice.
safe for salts. And, it's just like this pretty thing. It's a little interesting.
It is
It's a little
very pretty to look
mysterious.
at. It
A
looks
little
like
mysterious.
decor. And it's
Yeah.
nice because it looks like it belongs there just to go with the flow of the house. So people who aren't spiritual, who aren't doing these practices wouldn't know exactly what they're looking at. It's nice.
That's important part about being a witch, being
Yes.
sneaky about like what you have in your house and stuff. But one thing to keep in mind, I did not know this. I have cats and kids, but you have to be really careful with salt around cats and kids. Mine don't go after it, so I've never had a problem.
Yeah.
But a close friend of mine, I recommended this to her and didn't realize that the cats, they love it and they'll get sick. So keep it
Oh,
away
that's
from your
sad.
animals. If
Yes.
you have animals and your kids,
Yes.
be careful.
I use it a lot for bad dreams or to pull out stuff that's been done to you or worked against you. Is putting some sea salt in a bowl underneath your bed where you lay down, like up,
Yeah.
like by your upper body, your head, and it just draws it all out as you sleep. That one's a really good one. I
Yeah.
used it when my kids would have bad dreams.
And then, I think if that was me, I'd probably throw some lavender or something in there.
Definitely.
Just
But even
to
just the
help.
sea salt itself with a quartz crystal or obsidian crystal in the center of it is extra. It's really good.
That's a
It
good
works
tip.
really well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
Tobacco and burning tobacco to cleanse the
Really?
air.
Does it
Yeah.
smell like a cigarette, or what does it smell like?
No, if you get naturally like loose tobacco that's natural, that's just like the dried plant leaves, it smells like herbs.
Okay.
It smells, yes, it smells slightly tobacco-y, but it smells like herbs do. Like when you burn like strong herbs, like even when you burn garden sage, like it has that kind of similar smell,
Yeah, like
like
woodsy.
earthy.
Yeah, earthy.
Yeah.
Woodsy, earthy. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
And
Okay,
the vibration is so different, and you're only burning a little bit on a charcoal disc. So I also will mix copala in there. Sometimes I'll just do copala on itself because I love copala. It's one of my favorite ones.
yeah.
Because copal works similar to sage in my experience as well. They do similar things with the calling in the spirits. Certain spirits, they're like, you want to offer me that? That's what I want. So you kind of have to go with what they want.
Yeah, right.
A big one I
Yeah.
want to talk about is cleansing with relationships when you have a breakup or a divorce. Because cleansing can be extremely healing and extremely necessary for you to move on with your life.
Yeah.
I have a lot of clients that come to me that are stuck with energetic attachments from the previous breakup and the previous marriage or whatever, and I noticed that they still have physical items that were associated with that relationship, either a gift that was given or an item that belonged to the person or letters or photos of the person, items that even just the thought of it reminds you of them, because all of that strengthens that energetic tie that you have to that person. And that can make you feel really bad if you still have it and you're no longer together. But it's beautiful when you guys are,
Yeah.
it can turn on you. And when it does, I say throw all of that stuff out. What is really there to
Yeah.
keep? Give it away, throw it out. You don't need it in your life because it's just every time you see it, it's evoking that emotion, that wound that you feel, and it never gives you a chance to get ahead of it and heal it. So that's my thing. Clean your house, start throwing out everything you don't need, especially, for when you're trying to manifest a move. You just got divorced and you need to move on. Clean your house and get rid of everything you don't need. Take only the things you want to bring into your new life and watch, you'll manifest a way forward.
Yeah. And it's really painful to let go of some of that stuff. It's funny that you brought it up because on my list was cord cutting, spring cleaning, cord cut, do some cord cutting, there's, I don't have a simple way of explaining it. I'm sure someone else could explain it simpler, but it's something that's, massively out there, and you could find, a way that
YouTube it.
that makes sense with your traditions, like just like Athena said earlier, makes whatever makes sense with your traditions. But so the cords, sunstone will help. We talked about that in another episode.
Yes.
The cords that you have with other people, and it's like in your body, it's like this
your
energetic it's like energetic, like string between the two people that, if the relationship is no longer serving, or if it's really difficult to let go of someone who's already gone, there might be, or even relationships that are still ongoing. So
and friendships. Friendships,
and
too.
I understand it might be different for other people, but I understand you can cut a cord and still maintain a relationship with a person. So it's
but
just
the
like
relationship
sort of like
changes, and sometimes it can be really positive.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say, is that when you let go of that entanglement, so there's like maybe a little bit of entanglement that's going on, and when you cut that cord, you can almost change so that you're showing up by choice, so it's not like, oh, I'm entangled and meshed in this relationship that's like difficult, and it's more of I'm showing up by choice. So it's really good to do that.
It gives you your control back and your free will back, and you're completely right about that. And it can make you see things more clearly because you're not emotionally tied to that person. You're looking more from a logical standpoint.
Yeah.
So that is extremely helpful. But YouTube it. There's so many different ways to do it. Which is one thing I want to make a point to that. Anything with witchcraft, there are so many different ways to do it, and you should learn multiple ways, because you may be on Naked and Afraid and need to hook up manifest some money in a way off that island. You need to make sure you can use whatever's local and whatever's, applicable right in front of you.
That is very true. You don't always have access to exactly, and I'm like, I call myself a lazy witch because I don't do like whole routine, like the whole routine and everything, when how some people get really complicated, and that's awesome. If that's your thing, that's awesome. Like, I'm so jealous. But I don't do that, I just need to have whatever's here, whatever's around. I think a lot of us are eclectic witches, so we take things from different traditions and sort of pull them together. So that's a good point.
But even just to, I'm a dollar store witch. Like, I will hook up ways to move mountains for like $5.99.
I've seen it.
But it's all about my intention. That's what's driving that force. I'm just using the things that represent it, and it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. These spells and traditions were born in the kitchen, born with people who were really low income, that were, even in some cases, from people who were slaves. And so literally it's Survivor. You got to work with what you got, but it makes you realize the true power that you carry within yourself, and how just using intent, using the power of speech, using the power of thought, using the power of vibration, singing, dancing, chanting, praying, just the power with that we carry within ourselves is really all you need. And when you find that routine of living that where you're vibrating at your highest peak and you're able to just think things and have it happen and manifest, then you no longer need the herbs or the teas or the spells or the dances, because you're living that life. You're completely in flow and your spirits are with you. So you don't need things at that point.
Yeah, that is such a powerful point. Like, that's great. I completely 100% agree with you. Couldn't have said it better.
Thanks, love. And when you get there, don't get cocky. It's still good to learn. But it all comes down to routine and what you're doing. And if you really need to flip the script, cleansing is an extremely good way. Even going back to the spring cleansing part of what our conversation was. The reason we want to go for spring specifically is because during the onset of spring and the cycle of awakening, this is the time where we want to manifest opportunities. We want to manifest things coming forward with all of the plants that are growing. We want to utilize that vibration in that cycle to open up things into the summer so that we have a better harvest come fall.
Yeah. I think of it like the actual new year.
Yeah, it is. Although I still celebrate the new year because I work calendar magic, and the new year, I work it in tandem to the winter solstice. So from the winter solstice to New Year, I'm celebrating and doing different rituals those nights.
Right.
So I'm setting up what I'm trying to manifest. And then when I come into the spring, I'm doubling down and affirming what I'm trying to manifest so that it does grow in those warmer months.
That's great. I love that. I've never heard of the calendar magic before. It's crazy because I work with astrology and planets, so it doesn't make any sense that I never came across that one. But
I'm not sure if it's a big thing, but it's something my guides have shown me, and it's more goes back to the cycles of like more ancient times.
Okay.
They use the different festivals of the year, but if you look at them from above, you notice that they're building and they're using a cycle as you go through it. So every year with these festivals, you're harnessing the energy of that time. You're building upon it as you go forward in the calendar. So
I love it. That's great.
Yes, it's very cosmic, it's very large, but it changes your damn life. I will tell you that. It's like working with history. It's intricate, but maybe we'll do an episode on it one day. Who knows?
Yeah, I think we should. It's definitely something that's fascinating. So I think more people need to hear about that.
Well, I'm writing it down.
Good stuff.
Okay. But yeah, it helps to manifest up, and things get manifest at peak levels at the summertime. So if you notice that from year to year, a lot of change happens in the summertime. A lot of new things start cropping up. You start getting people talking about going back to school. You get all the new clothes, you get all the new phones, you get all the new cars, you get all the new homes. There's new marriages. That time is really birth, and the pinnacle to a lot of different cycles within the calendar. So it's really interesting. But
it makes me feel think about the middle of the day too. Like it's almost, that's like a micro of that summer peak when you're working with like the sun at the highest point of the day. That's when you're the most active and the most powerful, and like things are coming into like almost like full moon, like things are coming to their peak.
And that's why it's really important to that point. the opposite of that is the dark side. So winter, that is when I do some of the best divination work, is during the colder months, because everything's quiet and dormant and slow, so that I'm able to see further with my clairvoyance. And I'm able to pull information that's further out than what I normally could in other months. It's one of the rare times that I can actually read for myself, which doesn't happen very often.
12 months, 12-month outlook. Yeah, absolutely.
So I do major readings for myself and a couple of my key clients during those winter months. And it's some of the most transformational messages come during that time. So, but with that, there is a lot of emotions that get dredged up, which is why it's so important for the spring cleaning. So it cleans out all those emotions that we've dealt with. If you notice, a lot of people get depressed during that time of year. It's a lot of time where you're stewing in your own energies within your house. And your house is a reflection of your temple within yourself. So if you're stressed out, 9 times out of 10, your house is probably dirty or chaotic, or there's people that are staying that aren't usually there, or there's things happen, and it affects you within your body and within your life. So going back to that point of, you got to cleanse it out. So spring is the perfect time to do it, especially for the people that get depressed.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I feel like that was such a big, like piece of advice it's so much bigger than just working with your tools, cleaning your tools or decluttering your space. Like, it makes so much sense.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of power in our daily routines. A lot of these routines, if you look historically, are roles that people have always had. So that means your grandmother did it, your great grandmother did it, all the grandmothers of that lineage did it. Same with the grandfathers. They swept the home, they made sure the dishes were done, they prepared the meal. So these things are timeless, they're energies at that point. So you want to make sure that with cleaning and that specific energy, that you're doing it in a certain way where it's mindfully done and spiritually done, because then it opens up so many different possibilities energy wise when it comes to opportunities and career and with your family. If you're having chaotic kids running around, clean your house, they'll calm down.
That's great. Yeah, good. I need that.
Yeah.
That's advice for me.
As a mama too, that is a try and true method. And a lot of times, especially if they're around the age of like 2 or 3, you make them help you and you make it a game, and it lifts the vibration of the house and it chills people out and everybody's behaving and they feel helpful. It works like a charm.
I do. Just mentioning about kids and what, cleansing and stuff. My kid cannot stand like herb bundles, and every time he gets in trouble, I'm like, I'm getting the lavender and I'm getting the sage.
It's probably because it chills him out and he's like, I want to be crazy.
And he gets so mad at me, but then he stops. So it works. It definitely works.
I feel like they need to make an entire version of witchcraft, like parenting witchcraft, because I'm like, I could write a book on that. I know so many little tricks that work on them. My poor kids don't even stand a chance. I'm like, oh, you're going to be cranky. And they're better.
I got one more small tip.
Sure.
It might be bigger than, okay. So one of the things that I learned, and I'm sure you knew this already, but we all come to the game at different stages. So one of the things that I learned more recently, like maybe 2 years back, was keep your mirrors super, super clean.
Yeah.
And so the mirrors are like amplifying, like the quartz, they're like amplifying whatever magic or whatever intentions you're setting in the home. So that's one thing that I would definitely add to the spring cleaning list, to make sure that not only your tools are really clean and that you cleanse all of it with, smoke and salt water and whatever needs to be cleansed with,
Yeah.
sunshine, anything like that, but also to make sure that your like glass and mirrors and windows are all like sparkling, something
I
that I never have done.
I just want to add a tip to that. Be careful with mirrors in your bedroom.
Mm,
It is not good to have mirrors pointing your bed especially because of the way we dream. It can open portals and let things in, and you don't want that. So take your,
wow.
so if you have a mirror in your bedroom, make sure it's facing away from, you don't want it reflecting your bed. I would take it out of the
Wow.
room completely if you can. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't keep mirrors in that part of my house in any of the bedrooms.
Hmm.
I'm very protective about that because mirrors are a little tricky. There's stuff
Hmm.
that can be done through the mirrors, can be worked in a magical way to see things. So I'm a little bit, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with mirrors, magically speaking.
yes.
Um,
And
and
there's
that's
people out there that are experts at it, you
yeah,
know?
we should do an episode on that because just the mirrors alone are super fascinating.
Yes, definitely. We'll add that to the list.
Yes, add it to the list.
Yeah. No, it's, there's even like I grew up with our Dominican grandmother, great grandmother, and
Hmm.
there was a lot of like island superstitions, like like you can't put your shoes over your head in the closet because it'll make you sick,
Hmm.
and you can't sweep over people's feet because it'll bring you bad luck, like things like that. There's a lot of them that she taught me as a kid, always at the house, I'd get yelled at, like, don't put your feet on the table, you're going to make bad luck.
Hmm.
It was always about the bad luck. She was like allergic to bad luck.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I didn't get as much of it. You were the daughter of a daughter, so I feel like
Yeah.
I missed out on some of those. But
She would even wear like these red ties, like around, like, and red stuff around her wrist, and when she did like cleanings of the house.
mm-hmm.
Um I don't know. She was a little bit loose. It was more about like what you can't do with her.
Yeah, right.
Um,
That I do feel like I understand very well.
yeah, there was a lot of that. Like, don't do that. Bad luck,
Yeah.
bad luck, bad luck. And she would always tell us, like, don't you look at somebody with the side of your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big thing. Like, we get a lot of trouble. She's like, you're giving them the bad look, the evil
The
eye. She's like,
the
don't do
side
that to
eye.
people. Yeah, it's side eye, like the look.
So do you do
But
anything in the back? Because I was thinking that um, you know, with summer coming, I usually do like an outdoor altar out there.
yes, I have one.
And yeah, you have an altar and just it's not necessarily spring cleaning, but this like energy, working with energies, sort of like saying, okay, spring is coming back. Here's this space, for me to
Yeah,
offer the land, the land deities and the land
the land spirits.
spirit,
Yeah,
the land
I
spirit.
have an altar devoted to them, and the native spirits in this area because they're very strong.
Hmm.
Um, I make regular offering to them throughout the year. During spring, though, when I'm setting up my gardens, I make a point to straighten up their altar, and I'll
Yeah.
start bringing it in with like bringing them back with smoke and strengthening the relationship with smoke, because throughout the winter it's a little bit harder to access it because of the snow.
Yeah.
So
That's what I was trying to say.
yeah, throughout the
Basically, I
winter,
don't know
though,
if
I
that.
do maintain my relationship with them as best I can, but they have to understand that I'm a Caribbean girl. I don't belong up in this New York environment, but so I freeze to death in the winter, but I still make it out there to give offering when I can. But in the way of accessing their altar, I'm not able to do that in the winter. So in the spring, I come back and I make it a point to tell them, like, I'm here, like, let's do this again, like, let's pick this back up,
Yeah, it's just
and
about
strengthen the relationship.
almost that time.
Yeah, well, it's
Right?
funny you
Almost
say
that
that
time.
because I was actually looking at it today. I was sitting out and I was, my kids were outside. I was kind of watching them, and I like to, cleaning it up a little bit, putting things back where they go, and getting ready, to put flowers over in that area. So it's something that the spirits have been asking me to do for a little while. So I'm going to do it this year.
That sounds great.
Definitely. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode all about spring cleaning, and we hope you give some of these tips and tricks a try in your own house and see how it goes. I'm telling you, we have done all of these things and they do make a difference, and we hope you enjoy them and it benefits you. I'm Athena Silver. I'm a professional psychic medium, and I do tarot readings, mediumship readings, and other spiritual services. If you'd like to book a session with me, my website is readingswithathenasilver.com. My Facebook is Readings with Athena Silver. My Instagram is athena.silver. And my TikTok is Athena_silver. What about you, Anya?
Yeah, so I'm a tarot reader as well. And I also do past life hypnotherapy, past life regression hypnotherapy. And you can reach me at Anya River, ANJARIVER, on Facebook and Instagram.
Very nice. Now, if you want to access episodes of the Rebel Crow Psychic Show, they are available for free on rebelcrowpsychicshow.com. You can also find them on YouTube and on all major podcasting platforms like Spotify and iHeartMusic. We do an episode every Thursday, so come check us out. And we hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.